Yeah, I saw something about that. Chris Benson was all over it, man. Like,
I saw the hunting one. I said, that's not right, man.
yeah.
The hunting one I seen before. I talked to a lot of guys that are into draws and stuff. That's what I heard.
So that's province wide. You're talking province wide for that? Not in just one area? Really?
No, province wide. Your music's broken, Eric.
Turn it up. You can't hear it? I can hear it clear.
I can't hear nothing.
Really?
Really, eh?
Nothing. Aaron can't hear anything. You guys.
I can hear it. I'm just joking to turn it up.
Aaron's always got a good
just
sound
want
check
some
in his videos too, man. He's got a good sound.
I can't hear nothing.
If you can hear us, we're good.
I'm deaf.
I can't hear the music at all, eh?
No.
But you can hear us talking, though.
Well, I can hear voices, but not music.
That's fine, and the voices is
Voices are good, eh?
We'll just let this load up here a couple minutes. As always, it's Monday. It is 8. Well, shit, it's 8:19 now. But Casting Neck Podcast will start up in a few seconds. You can see we're going 4-banger today. Aaron Wiebe, he's got the custom. He ordered this shirt, and it just arrived in the mail today.
He said they're made to order.
Made to order.
Made to order, eh?
Yeah.
Jeremy Santos here. Short Fuse is out at the lake. Fantastic. We got all kinds, man. We're going to have a full show here.
Lots
We
to
have a
talk
good
about,
one
man.
coming up. Bruce is in the house. Jesse's up in here. Dylan Thies, what's going on, brother? We're going to see you this weekend. Alan Ali. Boom. Stop the music.
Alan Ali saw what happened on Friday night, eh?
Oh, Lord, man. Big shout out to our Season 7 Open Water sponsors, Team Fui Automotive, Big Smoke Barbecue, of course, Tech Video Security. Make sure you mention to Daryl there that CDP sent you. Manny's Live Bait. Pick them up all across the province. And Trans-Canada Brewing over here on Kenniston. But they're available in bars and LCs everywhere. We appreciate our sponsor this year. And Beyond Brick as well. Beyond Brick, we're going to have a contest coming up for Beyond Brick too. Yeah. Everyone's loading up here. Welcome to the show. Payman. I think Payman was overseas, but he's back now. Paul Tilson, what's going on, brother? Like I said, we've got a full show. We've got Aaron Wiebe, Uncut Angling in the house. We're going to talk about his latest video drop. Really interesting, man. There's cool stuff. There's like an hour-long documentary / tournament recap thing. I liked it, actually. I really liked it. We got Jeremy Santos, Dragon Boat, and Short Fuse is over in Ontario. He's on the other side there. We'll be talking all kinds of things. Fishing KBI. Moose hunting, forward facing. Let's keep the discussion going here. If you guys have any comments, as always, comment over to the side there. You got any questions or whatnot? We try to get to as many as we can, kind of thing. We don't get to all of them, but yeah, we'll get right into your Imars.
Oh, wait, man, that was a great video you put up there, man. Really interesting and just a lot of work you put into that thing too, man.
Thanks, Jeremy. I watched last week. I heard you and Mike giving rave reviews, and Eric was over there kind of like, yeah, I don't know. So now Eric starts talking. I love that documentary.
I love it now, eh?
Meanwhile, he's like, I don't really like forward facing.
He's about as contradicting as all the rest of them on there.
Yeah, exactly. Except he actually has it and runs it and chooses to like leave it off or not actually utilize it.
I do.
Oh, he's in like a very weird little sliver of a category.
I know. It's almost like you're going to get left behind. I'm already left behind. It's just that I wish it wasn't that way. That's sort of my thing on it, man. And wherever you fall on the spectrum, it is interesting stuff, man. And it's evolving too. I mean, you notice that Aaron slapped a whole bunch of clips together, and people's views are always evolving, it seems, and stuff like that, and acceptance and whatnot. But if you haven't seen it, check it out. Uncut Angling, slapping big fish during a kayak tournament, and then the climate of live scope forward facing within the fishing industry. So what is your stance on it? Because the other video was like make bass fishing great again. I thought you were like, I think that was tongue in cheek against it kind of thing.
Well,
I think sense that, eh?
As a bit of a recap of what's been going on over the last couple of years, it's kind of like Randy has been the loudest voice against it, and Ben Milliken has been kind of the loudest voice opposing Randy and for it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't actually gained that much traction, and they've kind of been bickering and kind of some inappropriate stuff on both sides as they've gone back and forth. And I don't know if you guys saw where they went head to head on the Bass After Dark podcast or not.
Yeah. Mike saw it closely. He watched that one. Yeah.
Watched today.
Milliken gave it to him pretty good, actually.
I would say overall it was just kind of okay. Like I watched it and I was like, neither side's doing a great job of representing themselves is how I felt when I watched it. I was thinking like I could really help either of these guys if this was supposed to be a proper debate, because it was just weak arguments on both sides. Like Ben's biggest thing is he was trying to lean into science and data, and he literally was saying that last year was an outlier year and trying not to credit forward-facing sonar with it. But you aren't going to hear him or anybody on that side mention that now in 2024, because the first couple events of the year sort of erased any of that talk that last year was just an outlier. And then, you know, Randy's stuff is so over the top, and he's admitted now multiple times that he's doing it because he gets traction on it. Like literally exactly what people accuse him of. He admits it openly. So it's, you know, like I actually appreciate a lot of what Randy does on every topic except for forward facing, because Randy's got a big heart and he talks about topics like reducing horsepower and conservation, protecting lakes, like good topics and good stuff to focus on that a lot of bass pros wouldn't be leaning into. So Randy's got a good heart and has the right idea with stuff. And unfortunately with the forward facing sonar topic, he's just gone off the deep end and will say anything he needs to prove his point now.
I just don't like the way he jumps on, I guess, the younger anglers, you know, like say all the rookies that are out there right now.
Yeah.
They've all learned how to fish prior to forward facing sonar.
He gives them no credit, right? No credit.
Because if you actually watch the whole series go on, these guys are banging the shoreline just like the rest of them, doing the same thing, and then they're just finding something odd, different, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Which I don't agree with him, you know, hounding them, saying that they're going off mommy and daddy's dime. Great, some of them are, but I don't think any of us would have been any different if we could have did it. So
Chris Johnston was fishing docks today. If you guys saw that, the final was today actually of the Lake Champlain Bassmaster. Yeah, they had to like skip a day or something. Is that what it was?
They missed Saturday because of the weather. Was it Friday?
Payman on sub Randy Blockett there. He is becoming ridiculous, and
I don't think you should unsub Randy, because he, like Aaron said, he does do a lot of good. He does a lot of good stuff. But I mean, we could sit here and talk about Randy all night, but there's no point in that. I mean you're either going to like him or you're not going to like him. I disagree with stuff he does and agree with some stuff. So,
and like Aaron said, he does say stuff just to get traction, just to get the likes or whatever, right? He wants an audience, so he's going to bring something up that he knows will bring controversy and everything.
Social media is mostly that, right? You're doing this to get paid. That's his job. That's what he does. So if you don't get your likes and your subs, then you don't get paid.
But I'll still ask Aaron there. Like, you're down with the forward facing. I mean, obviously,
I'm open to the conversation for sure. Like right now, I love forward facing sonar. If there was like a compelling argument to be made for getting rid of it, I would be definitely open to discussing it. And right now, I'm just not hearing any good compelling arguments. Like the loudest voices against it right now has been Randy. And then recently, like in February or March, Kevin Van Dam and Hank Parker started to echo stuff that Randy's saying. And that's when things really started to snowball. That's what I was going to say is over the last couple of years, it's been Randy versus Ben Milliken, and there hasn't been that much momentum on it. But as soon as Kevin Van Dam and Hank Parker started to put negative undertones out there, it had a massive effect. And all of a sudden you see people on all social media platforms jumping on board and following the lead from these guys who are obviously iconic industry figures. And that is where I'm just like, holy smokes, this is very scary now, because all of their arguments are not good arguments. When they talk about, how they'll say it's turning bass fishing into an elitist sport and how it's so expensive and conservation, they're scratching and grasping at these things. But literally every single argument that is brought up are arguments that have existed against professional bass fishing before forward-facing sonar was there. So they're literally exposing themselves and all of us as a fishing industry in an attempt to discredit forward-facing sonar. So if somebody wants to talk about the damaging effects of forward-facing sonar, I would love to have that conversation. I'd love to make a really responsible discussion and final decision on it. But I don't want it to be based on a whim or people who have financial gains that are like the general public doesn't realize what's going on behind the scenes with these things. Like Randy has exposed himself and said, the reason I'm doing this is because I get so much momentum on it. Kevin Van Dam and Hank Parker they have such big contracts with Humminbird that it is like an awkward topic for them when Humminbird is clearly in third place in the forward-facing sonar game, that you can't take them seriously on this. Unfortunately, like, I hate to say that because I'm not like, I think that both of those guys are super awesome in general and like great men, but I don't want to hear them speaking out against forward-facing sonar when their arguments do not seem to be consistent or authentic.
Interesting.
So that's where it's like, if there's real reason to look at removing it, which I'm not saying there isn't real reason. I just saying I haven't really heard it yet. I'm hearing people grasping because they've got other financial or political reasons to be doing that, which is very scary for us as anglers. Even if we don't have forward-facing sonar, do you want the direction of our fishing industry being guided by somebody who has an ulterior motive? Like, I don't think that's what we want. Like, that's scary, right? Like, we want progress and things improving. We don't want somebody who has another reason we're not aware of getting in the way of progress.
Dan Davies asked here, does it make tournament fishing more of a money game? It always has been, though. I mean, just take the horsepower conversation, trolling motors and rods and whatnot. Tournament fishing at the highest levels has always been money, obviously. I mean, it doesn't matter if you're playing golf or whatnot. You can have the best equipment and travel and all that kind of thing. I mean, this is just another angle there. But I think a legit angle is where regulations are getting affected, and you got biologists now taking a hard look at population numbers and creel limits and stuff like that, where they are directly correlating it to forward-facing sonar use. So there is an angle at that end. Take away the whole tournament thing. Sorry.
What's being directly attributed to forward-facing sonar in the way?
You take Minnesota, for example, where they're talking about reducing limits on certain lakes, bodies of water, just because they say that more crappie, for example, that's the big one down there that are taken due to that. So that's actually directly affecting.
Are you talking about Wisconsin including it in a survey a few months ago, or is there something new with Minnesota right now?
No, there's something in the wintertime there. I don't know if anything brand new.
That was Wisconsin, but it was just like it was looped in as a survey question, but it wasn't like it was being said like that it was.
If you were to talk to some biologists now, though, it's definitely on their radar, and all you can do is gather data right now because it's so new. So all they're doing is gathering data. So there's that angle too. You're talking people having financial angles and whatnot and sponsors and this and that. There's a whole other angle there who are looking at this from a regulation standpoint. So that's part of the conversation too. There's all kinds of different things there too, not just tournament guys getting their ass kicked by young guys. That seems like on the bass side, there's all this drama on the bass world, and it's so negative too. It makes you not like watching BPT and Elite and stuff like where people are crying and yelling at each other on the bass scene. It makes for interesting content, but it is depressing to watch the sport sort of devolve to that or whatever. So whether you go with it or go without it, it's all good. But all I'm saying is that there's an angle there from the conservation side that they're looking at it hard too.
But you got to look at it this way. It's more of an education thing now, right? You can't just go buy the unit, go out there and just become meat hogs. You
still got to know what you're doing.
There's got to be an education to what's happening out there. People need to get educated. The problem is their way of educating people is by making everybody else pay by cutting down limits and doing what they're doing. So, I don't know. That's just my take on it. If people get educated, we'd have a lot less bullshit and a little bit better fishing.
Interesting. I see no harm in that. Get into fishing. Yeah, man, go ahead.
You have the technology and you are reluctant to even bother leaning into it. So it's like my view on it is that from a level in terms of the four of us and everybody watching this right now, if somebody is a really good fisherman and is likely to go out and get their limit when they go fishing, now they are going to utilize forward-facing sonar. They're still just going to go get their limit. So in terms of forward-facing sonar being the enemy for depleting our fisheries, it's hard to understand because, like Jeremy said, you need to know how to use it and be willing to use it. So the average guy that isn't really skilled enough to get his limit, he's not just buying forward-facing sonar and now he's getting his limit all the time. So it bothers me when there's, like, I'm exaggerating a bit here, but a few dozen rich people in the far south US competing in some cliquey elitist event, and because of their strong opinions that affect them financially in all sorts of other considerations, they're affecting our rules and considerations all the way up here. Like, but none of us really care whether they want to use live scope in their tournament or not, but it's going to have a much bigger effect, and it's going to spill over into laws and regulations that do affect us. But I don't think live scope is hurting our lakes here. And I know that we are blessed to have a favorable human to lake ratio here compared to even if you go down to Minnesota. But I'm not convinced that in Minnesota, live scope is the issue either, because we've all heard over the years about how a lake goes into a bar conversation and then everybody goes out the next day and destroys the lake, right? We've heard that all our lives, that dynamic goes on in Minnesota and Wisconsin. It goes on without forward-facing sonar. They're going out there and they're depleting those lakes, catching their limit day after day with or without forward-facing sonar. So if forward-facing sonar suddenly allows them to do it a little bit faster and a little bit more efficiently, or even if it's a lot faster and a lot more efficiently, is that really depleting the lake? Because it isn't changing what their daily limit is.
What do you think about the pro muskie trail and targeting? We're talking the muskie conversation now about using it for that, and the like everyone, like the muskie guys have always online, they're saying like, well, this is a completely different conversation. It's like we're okay with it for bass and walleye, but when it comes to muskie, it really is an unfair advantage or something like that. How do you feel about it for targeting muskie?
I think it's definitely a different consideration with muskie, being that it's an apex predator and that muskie fishing has no harvest aspect, which makes it a weird thing. The same way that pro tournament fishing in the far south or anywhere, pro tournament fishing has no harvest aspect, so it makes it a different consideration. But I think in terms of, again, how it affects the four of us and anybody watching this, it doesn't affect it. So it's like, yes, there's considerations in muskie fishing, but I think that it's once again exposing some double standards and some considerations in muskie fishing that already exist, in terms of like, you're out there with no intentions of harvest, purely planning to just go beat up fish, and now you can more efficiently beat them up, and you're blaming the forward-facing sonar. It feels like you're almost like, you know, like in the movies where you're talking to the Catholic pope, or not pope, but the preacher, and you pull it back and you're confessing. That's what so much of this feels like, is people are literally exposing themselves and they're admitting what they feel guilty about, and then they're trying to pin it on forward-facing sonar, but the issues are there with or without forward-facing sonar. You're just suddenly getting more efficient at doing what you're doing anyways. But I hear you how it is. Stuff. I hear you how it's different with muskies in a way, but I mean, a lot of us are out there to just enjoy a day on the water and to catch our limit. That's what the pros have been telling us our whole lives, is that they want us to catch more fish and they want youth getting involved in the sport. So now when there's a bunch of youth dominating tournaments and people actually finally catching more fish, the same way they've been pretending that that's what we're supposed to be doing with all the other technology advancements, and then we have an issue with it, it feels yucky.
So what, are you just more concerned the fact that if it does affect tournaments down the road, that it could affect people like us after, is that your main point? Is that what they're saying? Yes, it may have something to do with the tournaments, but you're afraid it's going to leak down to the general population of fishing.
Yeah. I don't give a crap about what happens in the tournaments, except for exactly like you're saying, Jeremy, there's the massive trickle-down effect that then affects all of us civilians. Like all of the bass fishing enthusiasts across the United States will say, they are never going to fish in a big tournament. So when we're listening to these top bass guys debate about whether it's sporting to use it or not, it's just goofy because they're exposing themselves. You have someone like Hank Parker literally using the word molest bass. Like, shame on you. You should never say that because you're just exposing all of us as fishermen. And eventually, when they come for our hunting and fishing rights, we need to be on the same side. Because it's like if you were on the deer side and you've got deer hunters who are saying it's not sporting to harvest a deer with a rifle and a scope, but it is sporting to harvest them with a bow. Well, if you are talking to the 95% of the population that doesn't deer hunt, they're just going to look at you and say, let's get rid of deer hunting altogether. Thank you for your good points on the unethical nature of deer hunting with a rifle. Let's just apply that to all deer hunting. They're not going to say, oh, let's get rid of the scopes and we'll allow the archery guys.
Yeah.
That's why.
So with that analogy, do you draw a line at spotlighting though? You personally, your personal, do you draw a line at spotlighting?
What does spotlighting mean? Like
Oh yeah, of course we all do, Eric. Anybody that hunts draws a line.
So my whole thing is like, do you have a line if we go back to forward facing sonar or just fishing in general? Is there a certain line where you would be like, well, I think that hits the line now where it isn't really skillful anymore? Is there a line eventually? Like down, you're talking like 20, 30 around the years or whatever it is next week.
I think there's absolutely a technology line that we all need to be very concerned about. And if it's already here, I'm willing to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it and use examples and reasoning that is actually exposing us for stuff we've been doing the whole time. The people that are arguing against it are just making us all look bad. They're not actually doing a good job of justifying where the issues are with forward-facing sonar.
Gotcha. I think a lot of those pros too sort of wrap their head around it already too. I think getting embarrassed on the big stage for a season and a half.
Well, how are they getting embarrassed?
Kind of thing. Well, why would they be not mad? That's the reason why they're mad. What are you talking about? These guys are getting their ass spanked. So then now they're wrapping their head around it.
Get up and get your shit together.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what they're doing.
The thing is, they all have it. They just got to learn how to use it.
They just got to learn how to use it. Mark Rose hasn't been, for example, he's a Hall of Fame angler. He's older now, but he said, man, I can cry all I want about it. I won't cry online about it, but I just got to get to know it. And that's that, man. So if I get to know it, maybe I'll get better, man. But he used to be the top guy. Like Mark Rose was a top guy, Clark Wendell, guys like this, and Kennedy. Like these guys are all guys who were Morgan. And then they just no names are hard to see their names now, kind of thing. So yeah, but I think they just wrapping their heads around it now. It was more of that shock.
Look at Rick Clunn. He even admitted that he's just got to get better at it. He's old, he says, but I still got to learn how to use it. It's just the way things are going. If they start banning it in tournaments, then we're screwed. Because like Aaron said, it's going to have a trickle effect. It's going to come down. So if anybody thinks that it's a good idea to ban it in amateur sports, like in amateur fishing and that, it's not good because it's just going to start coming after everybody in general.
Don't give them any ideas, Joe Tilley says.
Well, you think it'd have that big of a change if amateur tournaments decide to ban forward-facing sonar? You think it would have a broad sweep effect like that? I mean, if you don't want to
look at how much everybody jumped on the bandwagon when they shut it down for muskie. I mean, you can have a couple of tournaments that don't have it, and the guys
on the amateur side join it. Anyone can make whatever rules they want. They can make rules where you only have to use right-handed reels or something like that. It is, I mean, that's the competition, and the market tells you whether you want to enter it or not, kind of thing.
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
What's that tournament in Ontario, like on Black Sturgeon, that has one coming up, or did it happen already? Where they said
it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't happened yet, or whatever. They were pretty loud about that having it.
Did they say forward-facing sonar? Yeah,
they said no forward-facing in this one, and I don't think that even if you did that in a competition, I don't think that's sort of an indication of whether you're for or against it, kind of thing. It's just almost depending on your demographic or whoever you're trying to attract to your thing. You're just trying to say like there's certain rules in place here, and whether we're single border or four borders or no maps or whatever you want to say, that kind of thing. I mean, maybe that's sort of just that. It's not an indictment on it, I don't think. Mike, if a tournament chooses to say you're just trying to even it maybe or something. If we had a FAM event, for example, that's the Philippine Angler Association, and we had something fun on Falcon Lake or something, and we said, okay, no one's using forward facing for this one, We're just trying to level the playing field or stuff like that, right? That's not an indictment on the whole thing.
But and again, it's up to the person if they want to fish it or not. You don't have to if you don't want to.
Yeah, the market will tell you.
Right.
The market. Yeah, that Black Sturgeon Derby banned it this year. So I'm interested about that. It didn't happen yet. So
did you guys hear about that Ultimate World Championship fishing tournament that banned forward facing sonar? And I think they said top prize is like 500 grand. You guys read about that one?
No.
Like the one that Gussie went into?
No, there's a new one that's came out.
So you think, no, let's just talk about it. You guys think those will fly? They're trying to jump on something. They're trying to jump on the thing, the side that's saying that, yeah, we are against this. And they're trying to jump on that. But I don't think those things will fly in the end, even when you're.
Well, I think they said it's only like $500 to enter it, but you got to win one of their qualifiers. And then if you win one of those, you are eligible to fish their final. And the prize is 500 grand.
Gatrells, that's the one. Gatrells, that one. Yeah, the one Santos talking about is in the States somewhere and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's interesting. I mean, it's still an evolving discussion for sure.
But the number one rule was no front-facing sonar. That was the number one rule right at the top.
I guess
now using it,
fish it, they're gonna go fish it.
Using it, like if you buy it, it's not automatic. Aaron would be the first one to say this. You buy it, it's not automatic. You got to learn to use it. Andre, you're not the first guy who said. I mean, I know a bunch of guys who said I bought it and I catch less now. Mike said it too. You'll catch less, but until you sort of develop,
you learn how to use it.
You're learning behavior. You're learning how to fish effectively.
I use it as a tool. That's all I use it for. It's just another tool in the tackle box to use. The other thing too is my question is for all these guys that are so worried about forward-facing sonar that are squawking the ass off of it. Are they going to join these tournaments? Probably not.
Well, I mean, if the grand prize is winning prize is $500,000, and all they got to put in is $500.
Chris gone.
These guys have no excuse.
I bet you $500 Randy Blanket will not do one of those tournaments.
That'd be great to see if he did or not.
Hey,
yep. What are you gonna say?
Go ahead, Aaron.
He did a response video after that tournament to explain why he didn't do it, and his reasoning were barrier to entry being cost prohibitive. So it's like, okay, once again, you said that scope made tournament fishing cost prohibitive, but now you want us to understand the entry fee to go to that tournament, the travel, and all this stuff. And it's like, yeah, tournament bass fishing, all tournament fishing, even up here, is an elitist thing. We all know it. It is extremely expensive and goofy to enter tournaments because it's just, like it costs, the juice isn't worth the squeeze. Like you have to really be passionate about it and really want to justify,
it's an expensive hobby.
Yeah, it's an expensive.
It's entertainment.
It has to become real expensive. Especially if you do tournaments, it has to become real expensive. I mean,
you don't do it to win money.
No,
like, I mean, you do, but I mean, not even if you do win, whatever. You go to tournament, you win 10 grand, you split with your partner. It's not like that just pays for all your tournaments that you're doing all throughout the year, kind of thing, right? So it's an expensive hobby. It's what it is, man. What's up, Leon? Leon's over in Montreal right now. Have a good time there this week, brother.
It's even more expensive when you think you're going to be good, and then you get kicked in the nuts after.
Shoal Lake's coming up this week, and we've got the Shoal Lake Bass Tournament brought to you by Avenza Maps and Angler's Edge Mapping. Aaron Wiebe is like in shit. I should have posted the standings there. You're in second place, Aaron, for Angler of the Year there. So
how am I in second? Shouldn't I
think
be
that's what it is.
Nick for first?
What are you? You're second and a second.
I was second and second. Nick Whitting, I got it right.
Fourth
time ever. Hear that? Whitting.
Third and a one.
Guys, are you listening? Is everybody listening? It's Whitting.
Whitting?
Yes.
Whitting.
He wants us to know it rhymes with winning. Whitting. Winning.
It rhymes with winning.
With tournaments banning FFS, bet if the playing field between not between the angler and the fish.
To level the playing field.
Did we just
that's just my point. Where if a tournament wants to do it, I don't think it's like I said. It's not an indictment on the technology. It's more just to even it with the anglers kind of thing. You know what I mean? Something like that. That's what I was saying. It's in play for this weekend. Definitely is in play at Shoal Lake there. Like I said, Nick, is it Whitting I thought it was white. Tink.
It rhymes with
white.
winning.
I'm going with Tink. Anyway.
No, it's not. It's not. I found out.
I just go with
It's winning. It's winning.
It's winning.
Anyway, it's still open to join. I mean, whoever wants in, $200, Clyde Bay. We'll be out there. I mean, no one's gonna go all the way to the Manitoba side or anything like that. I mean, it's gonna be one somewhere.
Aaron will be the guy to do it. Watch.
If he ain't got no service, how he's gonna enter his fish? He's gonna have to get back somehow.
He'll find a way. You know, Aaron, he'll find a way, man.
Hey, the service might get better as you go that way. You're headed closer to Manitoba and Falcon Lake.
Too, see? He's thought about it.
I'm taking the boat up this week, man. I'm gonna go for a drive and see where all this service is. But we want you guys in. If you got a kayak and borrow one, Shoal Lake, maybe it's bass, largemouth are in play. Let me go to the actual. I can go to it here.
Hi, Corey. Hey, guys. The title sponsor for this event is Angler's Edge Mapping, who has opened the doors to so many fisheries. Like, I mean, I know we could always fish all these lakes, but the way that they have gone and done mapping so that we can just pull up to the lake and immediately be on awesome spots and have a way better chance of catching fish. So for Shoal Lake specifically, I heard that they did 11,000 kilometers of travel already to map Shoal Lake. And I don't know if it's like half done or 2/3 done. Like they still got a bit to go on the far south end, but we're talking about technology and stuff. And it's like, I think, was it Dave Thomas saying maybe to level the playing field, we get rid of forward-facing sonar? But I think if we want to level the playing field, we need to get rid of all electronics, because then it's not an arbitrary line where all of a sudden somebody's opinion is, okay, it should be right here, right between side imaging I don't know where exactly the line, 360 and forward-facing sonar or something. But like, if you want to arbitrarily draw a line, I'm not okay with that. But if you want to say something like no electronics whatsoever, okay, then we can have a discussion, because I actually understand where you're coming from with this. So
natural.
We're talking about this tournament. Angler's Edge Mapping has made Shoal Lake, like, blown the doors wide open for Shoal Lake for all of us. It's incredible. I'm super excited about it. But if the same people are concerned about forward-facing sonar, they should definitely be concerned with our title sponsor for this event, because what they've done for Shoal Lake is amazing for all of us. The guys that used to fish Shoal Lake over the years, like, you guys remember what it was like 20 years ago talking about Shoal Lake. It was like talking about this uncharted place that was, you know,
you don't want to go there.
So unapproachable, right?
Yeah, we would never launch it because I don't want to ruin my boat.
Nope, so go somewhere else.
Yes,
no, it's open now. It's open. There's the conversion chart there. So largies will have a bit of an advantage. An 18-inch smallie is 361 on our chart here, the kickerfish chart. An 18-inch largie is 397. So, however, that'll factor into your strategy, guys. There are largies out there. Hayden Martin says you're going to be chasing a shit ton of walleye around on the forward facing, which is true out there, man. There's a lot of walleye in that.
There is a lot, man.
It's a fun lake, man. If you've never fished there, it's great. And some guys are like, I've never been there before. This is Shoal Lake we're talking about, man. You throw it anywhere, man. You're gonna catch fish. You're gonna catch fish. 100%.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I haven't been there before, so we'll find out.
You watch. Mike is gonna kill the fish, man. I'm telling you, bro. You will, bro. Mike's got all the tech on there, man. You're gonna kill him.
This kayak's a boat already, man.
Chachi's in the house. If you're just joining us, we've got Aaron Wiebe, Uncut Angling, in the house there, chatting some forward-facing sonar, of course. If you saw his recent video, man, he's got some cool stuff there. Jeremy Santos, Mike Totoli's at the lake. It's getting dark out there. Eric LeBolpa here. We're talking Shoal Lake. Walleyes are not in play, by the way, out there. You're not allowed to target them. You can't help but catch them, but you're not allowed to.
We'll catch some.
Hey, Eric, now you're talking about a topic that we should actually be talking about.
All right, let's go.
Forward-facing
Here we go.
It's like, why aren't we allowed to fish for walleye on Shoal Lake? Why aren't we allowed to fish for sturgeon on the Winnipeg River? What's going on with the moose hunts in Manitoba? See, these are relevant topics that are going to affect all of our rights hugely, and we're sitting here infighting about forward-facing sonar. It's ridiculous. They've got
to start her up there and get her going.
There's a lawsuit. So the Manitoba Wildlife Federation has actually put some paperwork in, suing some recent regulations getting put into place in Manitoba on moose hunting. You have any more insight on this, Aaron, on what's going on there in the moose hunting? Because I don't moose hunt, so I'm not familiar with it.
I don't moose hunt either, and I'm definitely not up to speed with all these topics, but I'm just going to say it's the most important thing going on in our province for hunting and fishing. I know it's more of a hunting specific topic, but we are brothers with the hunters. Like, we have to all band together, which also leads to the fact that, like, before we as Europeans are, and we know anyone that wasn't here, the way of life here was hunting and fishing. Okay. So we need to actually find a way to get like this with the Indigenous people and lean into the hunting and fishing rights of Manitobans for all of Manitobans. So this is probably should have been right at the start of this podcast. And if anybody's watching, you need to go get a membership for the Manitoba Wildlife Federation, because even if you don't agree with everything they're doing, they are the only unified voice that we have in Manitoba for the fishermen and the hunters. So when topics come up that affect all of our rights, the Manitoba Wildlife Federation is going to be there fighting for us. So it is paramount that we all throw in $20 or whatever their membership is. I think it's 20 or $25 to get a membership, or maybe it's, I don't even know exactly what it is, but I got my membership through being a member of the Lac du Bonnet Wildlife Association. So I don't know what it would cost to be straight with the Manitoba Wildlife.
They've taken probably 75% of the tags away
for moose hunting.
So what's happening now is a lot of these guys that guide moose for a living or even go out hunting, they're scrambling to get a tag.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely insane what they're doing.
So
the problem is, the problem is, like I'm trying to say about the forward-facing sonar, it's like, if we need to talk about it and get rid of it eventually, fine, I'm open to that conversation. The problem that the Manitoba Wildlife Federation has with the way that the tags were taken away is that it was done on a whim because of political pressure and not because of actually analyzing how the moose population is and removing the tags accordingly. Because that is what the original Indigenous way would be, and how all hunters and fishermen feel is, let's properly manage the resource so that we have a resource in the future and not just whimsically remove it because there's a political pressure for it.
Like, Kayak knows a lot about it, right? Because he loves moose hunting and that. So if we really wanted to get the nuts and bolts on it, I would talk to Kayak. Like, he was at my place and we were talking about that.
Because it only affects up north right now, correct or no? Is it not
at
all
the
over
moment?
the place?
As far as I know, it's up
areas
north for now.
Yeah.
It was multiple game hunting areas, but even if it's focused on up north, these types of things will have a trickle-down effect to all of us and then over to fishing. So that's where, we can get more informed on it. But the key is to support the Manitoba Wildlife Federation, because they're speaking on behalf of all of us and they have a clue of what's going on with this. The other big topic that's going on right now is on the Seal River Watershed in northern Manitoba. And if you look on a map to see how big of an area that encompasses, it's 50,000 square kilometers, and Manitoba is 650,000 square kilometers. So think of that as a ratio, 50,000 of 650,000 that they want to set aside as a Indigenous regulated area for a national park reserve, which will immediately remove all hunting for anyone that's not Indigenous. And right off the bat, that is going to cause more racial issues. We are trying to have reconciliation here. Well, if you carve out this massive area, it's like 7 or 8% of Manitoba as a whole, to make for only Indigenous hunting, well, it's going to trickle over to no fishing in short order, and it's going to trickle over to a ton more racism, because this is Manitoba. Like, if somebody comes to Manitoba or to Canada as a new resident, they instantly have all the rights that all of us do, no matter how long we've been living here. And I'm okay with that. They're a Canadian. They come here tomorrow. They're now a Canadian. They have all the same rights as us. I'm not saying I've been here, my grandparents have been here. How can you have these rights that I have? So this idea that we're going back to hundreds of years ago and suddenly giving all the rights to the Indigenous people, it's not going to work out in everyone's best interest. I'm not talking about the four of us, and I'm not talking about the Indigenous people. I'm talking about Manitoba as a whole. It is not going to work out in our best interest if we start dividing it up like this. And the division will just continue. It'll come further south, and it'll be through all of hunting and fishing and all of Manitoba.
Because that Seal River, we had a Travel Manitoba video up there, right? That was they have that one camp on that seal. I think Jay did it. It was like this sea run brook trout. That's the place, right?
I don't know which one that would be, but it's like
It's
Gangler's
east of
the biggest
East of
outfitter.
Churchill's. Would it eliminate those camps then? Like if that's the case, if there was a camp on that land,
it would immediately eliminate the hunting, and I just have to think that it, eventually it'll push out outfitters, and they want to make the entire area 100% Indigenous controlled for conservation and stuff. And it's like, I don't trust the government, but I trust the government more than I trust the random people that say they know better than the government. And I trust the government better than I trust, unfortunately to say, is the Indigenous people. Like, we as Manitobans, including the Indigenous people, we have to work together to figure this out. We can't be like separating it among user groups and thinking that that's the answer. That's going to just cause more racism and more issues.
Cool. Christine D, Manny's live bait. MWF was on board with the PCs with the whole live bait ban was first discussed. So they agree with banning live bait. So Christine is not having too much faith in them, kind of thing. Interesting. I like that. Where did they land on that before? That they would be all for it. Leon, definitely have to get back to nature. I do not hunt, but I know lots who do. Good point, Aaron. It's $30 to join NWF. It is, yeah. And then you can have a say in some of the stuff that they do then and what they put their energy into, kind of thing. I'm an NWF member there too. Chris Benson over there is a good guy. It affects some areas. We do have a draw here, Joe Tilly, you were asking, but it can affect the general area in the future. It like Aaron says, it'll trickle down. It does. Why it works I worked at Bloodfin last fall. More moose were harvested by non-Indigenous in the area. Yeah, that area on the east side of the lake, they've got some hard regulations there, don't they? If you drive up, there's like all kinds of moose signs up there, Manigatogin going up to Bissett and stuff like that. I do need a beer. I need to run off and get a beer. I do need a Trans-Canada Brewery. What is this guy? Who is this guy? I don't know what this guy is.
Someone's not a fan of. Like,
yeah, you're gonna get all kinds. You get a million.
Not good though, man. Like,
was that girl's name Christine or Christina there?
Christine D is at Manny's Live Bait.
I hear what she's saying, and I was I was opposed to all that stuff too. But you're talking about trying to appease so many people at the same time, right? So it's like the Manitoba Wildlife Federation, who I have zero affiliation with. I don't even think they necessarily are a huge fan of me, but they are trying to advocate on the rights of hunters and fishers in Manitoba. So that's something that we don't have a choice but to get behind as hunters and fishers, because it's not like there's a alternative hunters and fisher group that we can support. It's like we've got this one group that is trying to keep fishing and hunting rights as a whole. So
yeah,
I'm not sure exactly the example she's saying about the live bait thing, which I wasn't a fan of either, to be clear, but it's also like there's a broader scope and a lot of interest to try and appease.
So Divine says it's currently a feasibility study at the moment, which leads to other things, who knows or whatever, but they're working with the feds and stuff. Rocky, Carpex says simple solution, quota system like they do in the territories. Allow percentage animals for the native population and percentage animals for the non. It will never work if you put rules on one type and no rules for another population. It would be nice to get we'll get Robert on here one time talking about the hunting angle and stuff, because it does affect everybody and stuff for sure. And that's like it's a deep conversation. It's not this whole thing. And this one guy here is saying Aaron is a racist confirmed. I don't agree with that whatsoever.
Totally don't agree with that one.
It really isn't, man. It's not. It's
no,
not that.
Has nothing to do with
but
that.
It's a touchy subject. I mean, you're talking about all kinds of things, and you're trying to have everyone together, kind of thing. And it's definitely gray, not black and white for sure, kind of thing.
That guy didn't use his name. It said the settlement, but I'll be the first to say that it's ridiculous that Manitoba has not resolved the 100-plus-year-old treaties with the Indigenous people. And I think that is the number one priority, is to resolve the treaties where there is outstanding land claims. I'll be the first to say it. It's horrible. They need to get on that. Manitoba is last in all of Canada in resolving treaties. There's the most unsettled land claims here of anywhere. And you go to other provinces and you do not feel the racism the same way as you do in Manitoba because of those unresolved treaties. We are keeping the Indigenous people under our thumb because we have not resolved those treaties. And the answer is not to just buckle and give them huge percentages of Manitoba. I hate even saying them. I just want it to be Manitobans, right? But the answer to us not resolving the land claims isn't just, okay, well, we're going to give you a huge part of northern Manitoba that we have no use for right now and let you control it. Like, we need to start dealing with these issues. I hinted at it when we talked about Shoal Lake walleyes and Winnipeg River sturgeon. Well, this guy whose name is the settlement. The reason that those issues are in place for Shoal Lake walleyes, the conservation closure, and the conservation closure on the Winnipeg River sturgeon is because the government doesn't want the Indigenous people to be able to harvest sturgeon on the Winnipeg River. That's why it's closed for everyone. Okay? So, yes, I am not a fan of that. I want the Indigenous people to be able to harvest sturgeon. And if some, like whatever we are, whites or Europeans, are going to harvest some sturgeon as well, fine. There is a sturgeon population that can be harvested on the Winnipeg River. They do all these studies to check the population out. All the studies say that there's a huge thriving population of sturgeon on the Winnipeg River. And it's closed for some bogus conservation closure because they don't know how to deal with the Indigenous people. That's not Aaron Wiebe being racist. That's the government not knowing how to deal with Indigenous issues.
That is true. When I was at Travel, man, I was trying to argue like that. I was using sort of my platform there to argue to open it up, kind of thing, right? Because why is it? And I know why, because they just don't want to open that can of worms, like exactly what you said, kind of thing, right? But it's got to be addressed. I think it's just like the tourism and stuff. That's always my angle, is the tourism angle of it and stuff like that, into the sporting of the resource. Definitely could look at that. I wouldn't say I'm entirely familiar with the Shoal Lake situation, but they don't want commercial fishing on there, right? So then they close it to everybody. So it's very similar, right? So it's closed to everybody because they don't want the commercial aspect, Chris Stoll, the pilot. Aaron nailed it. It's about bringing everyone together, not section out the problems for some to fish. Aaron has been a friend of mine for over 20 years. Original. This guy's an original. Remember? We're talking way back. Yeah, we're talking way back. Uncut Angling. We were all Manitobans. Yeah, man. There's no way that day. Come on. Aaron's no.
So, Aaron, what's with your shirt? What's with your hoodie?
I don't know if we're gonna get into it or if we should get into it. I think we should focus on things about KPI and highlighting the winners.
You're wearing a billboard for. We're gonna touch on it for sure.
But you have to touch on it. You're wearing a billboard.
Hey, congratulations to Jamie Bruce and Brian Gustafson on winning KBI. Oh, this is something else.
We'll touch walleye first. The Saskatchewan Premier's Walleye Cup went down on the weekend. A couple of big tournaments, KBI and this one went down. Congratulations to Brady and Lyndon Hicks. Fantastic angling. These guys are familiar names on the Saskatchewan Walleye Tour and stuff like that. They want that. But CDP Nation, as far as CDP Nation goes, second place to Graham and Chris Gahn. How about that, man? I tell you, like
it was close, man.
I always have a lot more respect for anglers who can go to a different place. Yeah. Like they've never fished there before. They've never fished that tournament before, nothing, and hit up second place. That's wild, man. So way to travel. Nice work, Graham and Chris Gahn, second place. What were you saying, Santos? He had a crayfish or something that could have won him it or something?
He said he had a couple in his live well that could have, if one stayed in, would have won it from. That's
like how coughed it out?
Yeah.
It was that close, eh?
That close, man. Like,
Chris Gahn chases the money. If there's a big tournament somewhere, he wants to go to it, kind of thing. So good for him. He'll be at Last Mountain in a few weeks in September. So nice for CDP Nation. Chris, he will be. Yeah. He had 16th place there last year.
That's crazy.
Yeah, with Rob Turner. So we'll see how that goes down. It was close. Yeah, you said 34-24 to 34-13, and they were well ahead of third place there. So
I think they were in first place the first day too. So,
and that's a huge tournament. There's well over 100 boats at that one there. So. Good job on them representing. Good job over there. Yeah. You're mentioning Jamie Bruce and LTW's Brian Gustafson, a couple of the top sticks in Northwest Ontario, CDP Nation there as well. Congrats. They won in 2014. 10 years later on the anniversary, they took it down again. Yeah. What do you guys think about that? They number one ranked, this duo in Northwest Ontario?
They got to be up there. You don't think so?
It'd be pretty close.
Hey, Modi.
There's the one for that one.
Mote and Ian Water. Let's talk about that a little bit here. But we've got to just shout out some CDP Nation here. I put the standings up here, actually. Hayden was down there, CDP Nation. He went for a tent ride, and he's only done, I think this is your only, Hayden was
second one doing the tournament? Right? So he got into the tent, man. Yeah.
I mean,
that's been our dream of to get into the tent.
No, he just credit forward-facing sonar to him. That's it, man. No skill, Hayden. That took no skill whatsoever. No, he's a good angler, man. Karpiak and Jeff Tarko, they were down big time. They weighed in 12 pounds. Weighing 12 pounds of KBI ain't going to get you nowhere on day one. And then adjusted it. There was some crazy weather stuff going on there and stuff. And They adjusted, bam, 16. The next day, 17. They jumped up to 38th place out of 152. So hats off to you guys, man. Well done, brothers. That's killer way to adjust. They almost got a check there at 30th place. So good job. Way to go, man. Way to represent. And that was for our good friend Randy Bean. That was dedicated. That was a big comeback, man. Big comeback there dedicated to Randy Bean. So
huge.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you
Good
guys
job,
there.
man.
Josh Peacock. Did he finish in the top 10 as well? Josh Peacock. He's CDP Nation. He's watching right now, man.
I think.
9th or something,
Yeah.
They were on the Largy program too, those guys there. So you can see where it all went down. 152. Aaron, we haven't been at 150 for this tournament in a long time, man. I think that's from the last time you won. It was the last time it was at 150 boats.
It was longer ago than that. Hey, got to give a shout out to Harzma and Hubatka. I don't even know how to pronounce that, but those are
that too.
Second, man.
Yeah.
Jamie and Matt. Those are CDP Nation as well.
Yeah, those guys have been deadly in a bunch of tournaments lately. I don't know if they always fish together. I don't think, but they teamed up for this, which is scary for everybody else.
Yeah, Matt was pretty pumped. I talked to him right after it was all said and done, and he's pretty pumped, boy.
Harzma's been a good stick lately, man. So he's been doing really good. Watch out next year. I want to find Carpiak. They came here on day 3. They had I think this goes by. I don't think. Oh, they don't go by total weight. Oh, they do. No. Yeah, Carpiak. Look at that. Sixth place on the day 3 weight. 17.65.
Nice.
Yeah. Good for them, man. Good for them. Good shit. I like it.
Look at day 3. Harzma got biggest weight on day 3 there.
18.71. Wild, man. That's really good, man. And to be honest, I mean that's some. You always see the sort of the same names every year out in the Sunset Country, but there's some different names up there. Yeah. This year, I mean, Simons has always been good up there. He's up there now, but the Gibbons, of course, right? And Gustafson's everywhere. Bufflin got hit in weight. I thought he was up there somewhere, but he got hit in weight. I don't know where Dustin finished there, whatever. Not in the top 30, I don't think. But Dingwall, Samsel, you see these names. Rasmussen's is a big name. Although he's teaming up with the Suneros there, that's a big team right there. But
Rydberg's a huge name for KBI. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So he used to go out to Sturgeon.
There's a lot more Americans that came up. Like there's 2 teams
this year,
from,
right?
I think, Texas.
Yeah.
Was fantastic. Yeah. No, good shit. But quickly on the water, their 3rd day weight. People were asking where were they? They were right up there, and the 3rd day weight got DQ'd. Because they didn't notify KBI about a camera boat. You have any insight on it, Aaron, about that? Like on the camera boat situation? And they got protested.
Ian doesn't want to give me too many details because he's worried that I'm going to go all Aaron Wiebe on things, and he is just committed to making sure that he can fish KBI in the future because it means so much to him and Matei. And those guys just put their head down and go to work, and their results speak for themselves. Whatever they were protested for, I doubt is what they were charged with. So it's confusing to me how it all went down, in the sense of Ian's post said that the issue was that there was a live scope unit running in their camera boat. So did somebody protest? Did somebody put $200 up and say, I think there was a live scope running in their camera boat? Or did somebody protest for who knows what? And, when you're dealing with a tournament that is run by volunteers and a bunch of people just trying to do a good thing for everyone, it's tough to demand too much more for accountability. But at the same time, for everyone that fishes KBI, there is thousands of dollars of costs and way more than that in hours of effort that goes into it. So it would be cool if there was a little bit more transparency and information on it. I definitely know that in tournaments in general, there's a lot of crybabies, and it's discouraged me in the past from being involved in tournaments where it's just like not really worth getting into it. It's not discouraging these guys, and they're just wanting to go out there and set the record straight. And even with them having a camera boat, their goal was to have full transparency. And when they were called to question with the protest, as far as I know, they handed over all their footage and said, we have nothing to hide. So I'd like to know how many teams that are fishing the tournament would want to just provide full footage of everything that they did and said, go ahead, look through. and if all you can find is that the camera boat had a live scope running for a portion of the day, what are we suggesting here? That the best team fishing our tournaments had another boat beside them that was giving them tips? I mean, that's pretty far-fetched.
I'm not going to say I'm best friends with those guys, but I know them.
Yeah.
They're straight up good sticks, man. They're good anglers. They aren't there to cheat. You know, the whole point, I had a quick conversation with Ian.
Yep.
And the whole like it backfired, but his whole point was to have them promote the tournament. You know, they have sponsors to promote the tournament though, and show it and get great content and stuff because they're good sticks and stuff, and to show how they fish and that they're doing it straight up as anyone can. And it just completely just sort of backfired. Now, I've had that same thing when I was taking down checks like crazy on the Central Walleye Trail. There was always rumblings like, this guy's got to be doing something where he's fucking around in some way, shape, or form. Yeah. So that next year when me and my daughter Kayla did Falcon, I filmed the whole thing. I had a GoPro going the whole tournament, and I put it out there. It wasn't for more like content or whatever. I put it out there to show that I didn't know we were going to win. I just wanted to show how we fish. Yeah. We were on fish that week, but we coincidentally we won that tournament. You guys saw the video. I want to show we caught all those fish legit. There's no cheating or measurement. No one's giving us favorable measurements or nothing. That's what I think. That's what Ian and Matei wanted to do, was to sort of show that, because they are fucking killer sticks, man. And
the problem is when you do good in tournaments, people think you're cheating to do it, right?
Well, it's not that they're dumb. They've done good. It's the fact that they've won so many, right? And that's a problem.
People just say you're just straight out cheating.
Yeah. But like Jeremy said, they just won the Kenora Walleye Open. They just won the Fort Francis Bass Championship. Next weekend, or this weekend coming up in a few days, is the Atikokan Bass Classic. Right. Ian won it last year. So we're talking about the most dominating duo in all of our local tournaments here. And right now, we shouldn't be talking about them. We should still be talking about Jamie and Brian and Matt and the other Jamie. And that's what we should be focusing on. And the Crybabies screwed this up once again, because I had issues with KBI because of the Crybabies from the last time Ian won. They had to change the rules and everything to accommodate the Crybabies. They made a big section of the lake not allowed to be fished anymore. And this just adds to it. Like, all these Crybabies are deflecting the attention of where KBI should be. And they're putting the organizers, the directors, in an impossible situation, because the directors, whether it's Corey, I don't know if Lacey's still involved, Mark, like all of these people that are directors and volunteers do an incredible job, and they're under so much pressure as they do this. And when the Crybabies come in with these complaints, they have to deal with it. And there's so many considerations and overlapping friendships and sponsorships and different things that they have to figure out a way to accommodate all this. Well, I hope the Crybabies are happy, because now we're talking about Ian and Matei and how awesome they are, which shouldn't be what we're talking about right now. We should be talking about the Jamies and the Brian and the Matt Harzma, who actually were battling it out. We looked at that on day 3. Matt and Jamie had the biggest bag on day 3. Brian and the other Jamie had the second biggest bag. And that is just so awesome that they're bringing in the 2 biggest bags of the tournament through the tent to compete for first place and first and second. Like, you couldn't
win when they took that the hot seat when Harzma when they had they was like close
they were like just on the edge of their seats.
Al does a good job with it too, right? And it was like, they're gonna get it. They got it like, holy crap, that was pretty good, man.
You couldn't ask for a better finish, really.
It was great, man. That's fantastic, that's man. Awesome, and like that's always a dream. Shout out to Hayden and getting into the like, our dream always been just to get into. We always just, even if we just weighed 9 pounds on day 3.
No matter if we want to get into the top.
If you're music, entry music. You're in the parade.
No, he didn't have 9 pounds.
Hayden, we're talking about me and LaBofa.
Even if you got 9 pounds.
If we ever made the tent, it wouldn't matter if we had no fish.
We'd be like, if ever got into that parade, we would score 9 pounds on day 3. Not gonna, we probably wouldn't. But
Hayden probably would, but it wouldn't matter, bro.
Hayden and Jeremy, like, here he is tripping right now. They're so sneaky good. Like, you don't see that coming. And then they're like, was Hayden and Jeremy like 6th or something? Or where did they finish?
I think they got 6th. They finished 6th.
They're right up there, man. 6th place.
Oh,
that's
fantastic, awesome, man.
Like I said, nice seeing some different names up there too this year. Yep. It's good. It's a battle, man. I'm telling you, like, it's next year is going to be huge, man. And they allowed 152 teams. That's wild. That's pretty good, man. I'm gonna buy the figure for the boat and hot see the
I think on Saturday when we were there, they were asked. No, I think it was Thursday. I was watching it, and they were asked, like Brian was asked if he had enough fish or if they had enough to win this whole tournament. And Brian, with a lot of confidence, said, "Yeah, we do."
Yeah. Eh?
So I guess their spots, they knew their spots quite well.
They were banging largies. Was it largies the whole time?
So they got largies on day one. They had largies on day one. I think they had a mixed bag on day two, and it was all smallies on day three.
All smallies, eh?
Yeah.
Was Jay in it this year? He wasn't in it.
Who's that?
Siemens. Was Siemens in it?
I don't
No.
think so.
No.
How about you, Aaron? You ever gonna make an appearance back there? KBI?
Not
You told me
after
you
this,
weren't.
probably. I mean, no time soon. Honestly, like, with the way they changed the rules the first time Ian won, and now the fact that it's like we're there, and even now talking about this and how they had to zero their bag, it's like if they actually did something so egregious, why don't they have a zero for the whole tournament?
Yeah.
You know, why are you saying that you did something that you literally cheated, so you're getting a zero bag for the day, but not just a zero for the whole tournament? It's like we just needed to do something to satisfy the crybabies that submitted protests, but there really isn't much here.
And a camera boat's not unheard of, man.
You think this could have been all avoided if they asked KBI first? Hey, like we're gonna have a boat following us the whole time.
Yeah, but the crybabies will find something else.
I guess.
Like, they always have something to say about teams they don't like. No offense to Hayden, I guess he's obviously watching here, but like if Hayden were to win, I can't imagine the people that would start going like this about.
Matt almost brought it back, and Jamie almost brought it back for the NBA. It was close, man.
If me and Eric ever won it, no one would say anything.
No one ain't saying shit, bro.
No one's saying shit, bro.
Oh no, they say we're cheating for shit. No, they would say we're cheating. There's no way that those losers freaking got 20 pounds a day. There's no way. There ain't no way those guys got that.
They'll be scared over entry music, bro. They ain't gonna touch us after entrance music.
Shit. Anyway, I didn't get. You know what? I'm gonna do beefs of the week this way. Last time Aaron was here, he picked a dolphin.
We got complaints about that too.
Yeah, but we never got complaints about a dolphin. We got complaints about a turtle. Maybe Bruce picked a turtle.
They said it was Asian. Obviously, cheats. I caught a beast. I actually fished this week, and I had my daughter's debut. Her birthday was on Friday. I was out of commission, but yesterday at the family barbecue over in Rivercrest on the Red River, man, everyone's having a barbecue, and I'm like, I gotta drop a line here, man.
Yeah,
35 inches, boy.
Looks
frogs.
Bigger.
Yeah, we caught some frogs right on the shore here. Nash is jumping around catching frogs. Throw it on a hook. Pow! Beautiful, man. Look at that, 35 inches. Anyway, we're just gonna say that's the beast of the week right there, I think.
Ooh.
Hey.
That ain't gonna work, bro.
Okay, let me see what's here then. Let's see what's here. We'll go this way. I'll do Facebook, and I'll zoom it up there. You saw Wes Logan almost died there. A big tip. You're all over that too, Aaron. Like to wear like the kill switch, the leash. You know, that's important, man. On your boats, man. Like you really got to wear that kill switch, man. Like shit. Like
was he wearing it or what happened?
Yeah. He had the whole leash and everything.
Luckily, he was wearing it.
He's wearing his kill switch, but he had the leash on the engine, so it didn't pop into the back of the boat.
Yeah, that could have been worse, man. You could have been chopped up, man.
So, yeah, that could have been a lot worse.
Definitely so, man. Okay, Blake Morgan. Big old rockos are kind of fun. Okay, there's a rock bass. All right. Okay. Points for the stash. Oh, honeymoon hog. Mac Mulligan.
Nice.
He's not on a honeymoon. This must be his guest. His guests are on a honeymoon. That's what it is, man. That's a nice figure.
Look at the spots on that one.
It's nice. That's a nice one. Okay, just from looking at it though. Like how long is that one? 37? You can sort of tell by looking. No, generally within 2 inches. No.
I'm not going to say unless there's a competition to guess how long it is.
I want to see. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know what the length is. But like sometimes,
it's the spots to focus on with that one. Look at the spots.
Jesse's got one. A shore muskie, 40.25. Nice work, Jesse.
Nice.
If you know, you know. I like it. Nice work out there. Grant Colley doesn't go for bass, he says, but he loves catching them when he does run into one, just over 19. So this is his new personal best, weighted at 4.45. That would be a Lac de Bonnie one, eh, Mikey? I would have to imagine.
Yeah, just happy to see him out fishing.
That's fantastic, man. Way to go, brother. Good. Grant Colley's out there. Good job. Devin Cox, his girl Amber Marie, new personal best walleye from Pelican. Pelican is
producing,
that's a place, bro. 28 and
Nice.
a half. Big thanks to ISO Fishing Adventures. He helped sponsor the Pelican tournament out there. That's her first ever submission to there. So congrats, Amber. Nice work on that. What else we got here? We got some parade stuff. Piotrowski, just shy of 20 inches. Backcountry Smalley. Nice work. I used to go up to Nopeming a lot.
Man.
I haven't been to the Nopeming in 10 years, man. No, that's a lie. No, I went to Manigataugan up there. Melissa, 22 and a half inch walleye at end of May. Nice work, Melissa Van Gompel.
It's starting.
We still got to get her to 30. Yes, sir. People getting them at Winnipeg Beach right now.
High water.
Yeah. Any more? Reesmeyer.
Nice.
The boy. 27 inches. This is Tripp's new personal best. Nice work there. Trip Reese. I tell you, he's going to be a pro fisherman with that name. I'm telling you, man. Trip Reese.
Trip Reese.
Name.
Is that Pelican Lake too?
Pelican Lake, brother. Yeah, man. That's got to be near where you were, probably. I recognize the shoreline.
Looks like the shoreline, yeah.
Everyone's finding your spots.
We got to get out to Alberta, actually. Mitchell Lilly does some good stuff out there, brother. Northwest Adventures. I think that's the ones there. So who's got it here?
Is it up to me?
Yeah,
it's all you, buddy. You're the guest.
All you, yeah.
I'm saying Amber Marie with was it a 28 incher, 29 incher?
Yeah, Amber Murray with a 28 and a half.
I'm liking that she's at Pelican Lake where we just had our kayak event, and she's crushing a fish bigger than any of us caught during the tournament. That's I like that.
Done.
Nice.
Amber Marie.
There you go. Congrats.
August 12th, Beast of the Week goes to Amber Marie, picked by yours truly there. Aaron Wiebe. Nice work, brother. Melissa, one day I'll hit the 30. I know. I'm trying to get you into the 30s there. I got to get you.
I'm going to buy Brandon Elliott that freaking Ninja Turtle series so he shuts the fuck up.
He loves his turtles, man.
Bro. He's a dancing.
He loves his turtles, man.
I want to see a bumper picture. I just eyeballed that, bro. I eyeballed that. There's a new you see that, Aaron? The new app? I was talking to Todd over at the fishing hole. Where what's the name of that scientist? Shit, I'm not doing him justice here, man. Local scientist guy, but UW, I think. But he has this bump board with a bunch of QR codes on it, and we're measuring fish now via like that thing does the scrutinizing. I have to test it to see, but
the barcodes or whatever.
There's a ruler, but there's it's QR codes on it.
QR codes, yeah.
Chat with Todd at fishing hole there, and he has some sample ones to try out, so I'm gonna try it. I don't know.
It doesn't sound like it's very far-fetched, because like if you on Apple, there was a measure app long ago already that
you
took it out and you measured stuff, it was remarkable how accurate it was, even when you changed the angle of your camera, and it was like, no, this is 18 inches long, and you're like, really? I'm trying to trick you. I can't trick you. It was pretty cool.
It worked, eh?
And they tightened it up. It's AI or something. And then there was a guy at ICAST selling similar kind of thing. I asked about the photo because he was doing measurements via photo. And I was really, how is that working? Like, he's like, you're taking a past photo and he's getting a measurement. AI is doing it based on, like, say in Amber's picture, she has sunglasses and a cap. So it's taken, it has that in its whatever algorithm, like what a cap is. And it's basing it on, it was shit, man. There's all kinds of things you can do nowadays, I guess. I just want to see how accurate it is. So
I like to see how that works on ice, like in winter.
It'd be great. I don't know if it's something cool. Like, I mean, you know me.
Your eyes are totally.
I'm always down with new technology.
I'm just thinking it makes mine and Jeremy's life a little easier.
Way easier, man.
If it's accurate.
Yeah. If it's accurate, yeah.
This weekend, Shoal Lake Bass catch photo release. Last thought we could talk about this. This all will end it. I guess is talking on the future of tournaments, Aaron, man. Like, I mean, you've always said that you're not a tournament angler, but I love seeing you compete and stuff like that. And you're a heck of a good stick, of course. What do you see the future of tournament fishing at? Do you see it moving towards catch photo release? You're down with that?
for sure. When we had to do CPR during COVID, and the Manitoba Bass Anglers was forced to do it, and then I'm drawing a blank. What was the tour?
KWT?
Yeah, KWT Keystone Walleye Tour. Alex and I'm drawing a blank.
James
Hebert.
Yeah, James Hebert and Alex there. That was awesome the way they did that. It was like so progressive from everything that we've done with tournament fishing over the years. And then it was weird how COVID ended and we just kind of went right back to how it was. And it's like, why are we doing that? And the Manitoba Bass Anglers being, unwilling to adapt and still insisting on doing a weigh-in, even though it means that we're not including our biggest fish caught. Like there's two sides to it. Like, I hear that the fisheries branch kind of ruined our tournaments with their new regulations that make us release the big ones. But at the same time, they're doing it because we don't really want bass in live wells and they're trying to be progressive. And I'm excited to be from Manitoba where we're progressive with our barbless hooks and a lot of things that we do here. So it's time to move along with a lot of that stuff and get with the times. There's really no reason to have fish in live wells.
Well, we've been doing our part here. We're running tournaments at Kickerfish over here. Catch, photo, release. Almost like okay, you know what? I'll try it out. You heard me at the meetings, man. I was like all for freaking weighing and stuff like that, right? But I'm not opposed to trying things and trying it now. People give. I thought you were against all this. It's pretty good, actually, man. I think it's great. I don't know. You can if
but is it great? Is it great here? CPR is because, like you said, we can weigh in those big fish. But if we're on Ontario, where you're allowed to hold those bigger fish, and you can weigh all those big fish.
Oh, well,
but you're not. You can only have 28.
Well, I'm talking about bass, not the walleye.
But, yeah.
Like for bass, would it be 5 best? You're telling me if we could do that here in Manitoba, the 5 biggest bass, you wouldn't want to weigh those in. You still go with CPR.
I want 5 best, period. So whether there's pros and cons to weigh and catch photo, right? There's pros and cons. There really is.
No, I mean, like you said
I like
here,
5 best no matter what, though.
CPR is great here because, like you said, we can weigh in the big fish that we're not supposed to have. So
Eric, Jeremy's saying if we were allowed to do either, would you still want to do CPR if the regulations allowed us weigh in 5 big ones? Isn't that what you're saying?
A year ago, I'd be like, it's weigh in or nothing. This. I mean, maybe a year and a half ago or whatever. And then we went all out. I've got all the rulers. We're doing it, making rules for it, running events. We've got how many under our belt now? I'm down with 5 best, like CPR.
Just CPR.
I'm cool with it.
5 best weigh in, 5 best CPR. You're gonna lean towards CPR.
I've always thought of we can get this will be another subject for another podcast, but you talk about it, man. You talk about how many. You watch Aaron's video. He has some interesting where they show how many die. That Robert G talked about it, man. He had 3 die on him one day, that other day. You know what I mean? I mean, fish are gonna die from getting eaten or incidental or whatever too. But I'm down with proper catch, photo, release. I think it's cool, man. I think it's cool. Now you don't have that nice weigh-in at KBI, for example.
Well, I was gonna say, would that take away from KBI? If KBI went to CPR, does KBI have the same effect, like the tent and everything? We can't do that now with CPR?
Hey,
there's ways to do it.
Talking about the crybabies that I've referenced a few times here. And by the way, I'm not talking about 1 or 2 specific people. I'm just talking about the group of people that at these tournaments are making excuses at the end of the tournaments. And I feel like there's a lot in Kenora, but there's a lot here too. There's a lot everywhere.
There's a lot of people who protest. Like you guys, you'd be surprised how many put the money down to protest things, man. Yeah.
Here's what I was going to say though. If you're at any of the bass tournaments in Ontario where you're allowed to weigh 5, you always hear people talking about the scale. And it is such an annoying thing to hear about that it would be amazing to switch over to CPR for that reason, because you'd never hear people talking about scale calibration. Every single year I fish KBI, Bassin for Bucks, any of those tournaments, there's people talking about the scale. And it's a matter of someone thinks that they had a certain weight and then they don't weigh that amount. And then they start manifesting it to the other competitors and somebody else chimes in and says, me too. And suddenly it has legs and now everybody's talking about it. Oh yeah, they didn't have the scale calibrated for the first whatever. And I'm sure that once in a while it's true, but it is just so annoying to hear about and deal with. And that would all be gone immediately if it was measurement. There'd be no scale calibration talk.
anyone who attended Lundmania in Pinawa, they had that going for a good 6-7 years or whatever. Lundmania was always exciting for their hot seat and stuff like that. And that was all catch photo release too. It
Well,
could be
if you
done, to be
remove
honest with you. It could be done, bro. I mean,
Don't just whine about the old prick that's looking at the photos. That's it.
Jeremy says there was a team at KB whose bag broke at the dock and they lost all 5.
Ouch.
Yeah, that doesn't happen with CPR. Well, you can still lose a fish before you get it all measured in photo. Like you watch us in the kayaks there, man. These fish could jump on. Like with Aaron Bear Pod one, we got it back in the boat there.
Mike didn't bear paw one, right, Mike?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I lost. I wish I could have bear pawed one. I lost one that was probably 16 to 17 inches.
Damn.
That's it. That's not a very good story, Mike.
Bigger, 27 inches. That's better.
Yeah, 27.
I know.
Scale calibration though, Aaron, man. Like shit. I've
True,
run
yeah.
tournaments and I attended a lot of tournaments, man. And sometimes the scale just fuck. That's just
I'm
sometimes
just
you
putting up barriers on my kayak on both sides.
you get benefit of the doubt sometimes, or you get benefit of it, and sometimes it goes against you. That's the end, sort of just comes with it. People who do a lot of tournaments sort of just accept the scale sometimes, but holy shit, man. So I mean, you don't have that with the catch photo. It's a lot more cut and dry. As long as you got the checks and balances in there, like Jeremy says, it would be completely different. But I mean, Major League Fishing, for example, like I mean, they have spotters in each boat, but I mean, no fish come to the scale there.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what though, Eric? They did tournaments. Lactabon did a tournament, your 5 best fish or something like that. So they had people in the boat with a scale. They would weigh the fish and then they would release them. And there were still people, oh no, I'm not going to do that tournament because I don't want to show anybody my secrets. Fuck, you got to be kidding me. That's the mentality of people in Manitoba, though.
Yeah.
The background of the photo or something?
Background, yeah.
No, just they didn't want somebody.
So anything.
So they would say, okay, Jeremy's your spotter. Well, I'm not going to take him because I'm just going to show him everything I know.
Yeah.
All right,
always
Brandon.
something,
Sorry,
man.
bro. Sorry, Brandon. We did get this. We'll do a proper beast of the week next week. I didn't get to it, man. I just
I
logged
don't
on.
care.
You
He's
guys
not
know.
winning anyways.
I logged on at 8:00.
Hey, Brandon, you can have second place with that one. That's a
There
pretty
you go.
There you go, second.
I just want to show this too. I want to show this one.
And
Yeah.
if there was a turtle, you'd take third.
CDP all cleaned up at my daughter's birthday party there. So look at that though. Yeah. That's why we didn't go to KBI.
We
We
look
had that
presentable for
But
once.
we'll be back next year. Watch out.
Yes.
Top 100 next year, bros. We're coming for that top 100.
We're gonna crack 100, bro.
As if you don't know, but where can they follow you, Aaron Wiebe? Where can they follow Aaron Wiebe?
I think the most important thing you should follow is the Manitoba Wildlife Federation. And furthermore, to the Seal River talk, is they will have links to Manitoba Wildlife Federation, but the federal government right now is holding a survey or questionnaire or something that you can go look up and you can put your comments in. And if you look at it, you're kind of like not really sure where you stand on it because the questions will seem kind of like, where do I fit in? Like they'll ask how that area applies to you or whatever. The most important thing is to just write in there that you feel that hunting and fishing should be available to all Manitobans. I mean, if you disagree with me, then don't say it. But if you do agree with that, that's what you should go write down, is that hunting and fishing should be available to all Manitobans. And furthermore, I think we all feel it should be available to all Canadians, all Americans, whatever, in some way. Obviously, if we really have to limit it, we can create barriers to entry for non-residents or whatever. But as Manitobans, we want to keep those opportunities open to everyone. So if you follow the Manitoba Wildlife Federation on any social media, it'll be very easy to find the links to this Seal River Watershed questionnaire that the federal government is putting out, or just Google Seal River Watershed questionnaire Canada, and you'll find it right away.
MWF, check it out there. Like you said, it's $30 to be a member of it.
And it sounds like that's not, guys, it sounds like that's not important to you because you've never been to the Seal River Watershed, but fast forward 5-10 years and it will be in your backyard. It will definitely affect where you're fishing. So if even a few people see this and go fill out the questionnaire, it is very relevant to all of us.
I'm gonna look into it, man. I'm gonna look at it for sure. Anyway, a lot of cool topics here. I mean, Aaron definitely touched it. I mean, nothing we're gonna solve in an hour and 20 minutes or whatever, but that's great, interesting stuff there. Whole bunch of topics here. Aaron is 5th time here. That's a record, I think, for guest hosts. I think no, Steve Sasaki's guy. Steve Sasaki took that great picture of us there. He's got the most guest hosting opportunities. But Aaron will be back when he wins on the Shoal Lake.
For sure, man.
That I would be here whenever I win a tournament. So after I win Shoal next weekend, I'm going to have to be
You're
on.
back again,
He'll
brother,
back
man.
again.
How are you going to win Shoal next weekend?
Hayden says there's no more largies.
With
You
the
think
5
98%
biggest
of them
bass,
died.
Mike.
Well, I'm going to drill holes in everybody's kayaks, so at least I can probably still lose. Everybody
He's
fishing
got
shore, I'd still lose. Damn
$50
it.
on what the
Picture
largest
show there.
largie will be at the tournament on the weekend there. I think there's going to be a 4-pound largie caught in. He doesn't believe it. He says that they're gone, which is
I
interesting.
guess we're gonna find out, man. Someone's gonna find one for sure.
Well, at the Shoal Lake tournament, man, it was all small. He's getting weighed in too, though. I noticed that.
I don't care. I just need to go get my 5 fish, and then I'll go look for largies.
Anyway, and then September 1st, we've got the longboat tournament, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, man, that's the Cast and Deck podcast. We're playing by going out. Is the next video? Yeah, bro,
Just
I don't-
wait, don't talk yet.
There, now you talk.
Now you can talk. Eric, now you can talk.
Oh, now I can talk. Oh, yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Well, yeah,
when's the
because
next-
you get cut out.
When's the next video coming down, Aaron Wiebe?
I don't know if I'm going to do anything before the next kayak video, but could we do another kayak meeting or something before? Like, is the rule meeting on Friday night?
It'll be Friday. We're going to get together. We're going to have we're going to know. There's a Starlink zone. We're going to get the exact rules hammered out.
Okay.
It's there. I was
Because
talking
if
to you
there's-
earlier about it.
There's probably like a few things we could talk about to make sure everybody has like a good grasp on their approach, because we want everybody catching fish. So there's a few things that we can talk about,
Definitely so.
or you guys can talk about whatever. But yeah,
Hard water. Holy, geez, great show. We appreciate it, man. Jeremy Santos, the Dragon Boat. He's got a place to be. Mike Tatoli is. It's dark on him now. He's gonna go fishing, still night fishing, and Aaron Wiebe, of course, is gonna keep editing videos because we keep looking forward to the next one. Fight the
One of the
good
best,
fight, brother.
man.
Well, I think
One
we
of the
know what
best.
the next one's going to be now. So
He's back next week if he wins next week. And I think I'm gonna win.
This might happen, man.
Peace out, everybody. Same time, same
Thanks.
place, 8:15.
thanks for having me, guys.
Love you guys.
Thanks again, man.
Love you too.